Oh, right.
All right, we're live. Hey, Mana,
Hello. Hello, Felipe. How you going, mate?
I'm doing well. Are you
All
ready
right.
for this?
I am ready for this game.
Let's do
It's
it.
going to be an exciting game. Straight off the bat for the Australians, going against currently world ranked number 2, Colombia. World ranked number 3
Number
from,
three, I think.
yeah, number 3 from Graz. All right. Let's see if we can work through this camera a little bit. Apologies for the shaky start here. All right. I think we're getting the hang of this. So it's the first game of the tournament for both teams. I think they're all pretty excited. I know Australia, personally, I'm from Australia. Felipe is here from Canada,
From Colombia.
from Colombia,
Canada and Colombia, yeah.
currently living in Canada.
Currently living in Canada, yeah.
There we go, straight off the start.
So the people watching on YouTube, who's gonna win this game? Let us know.
Yeah, like to see some noise for all the people on watching these teams. It's at a lovely 3 a.m. time for Australia right now, Eastern Standard Time. Right, it's always amazing to see how all the Colombians have a very nice way of controlling the ball. Ball's always moving around in circles. All these people underwater. I know Australia has been working on a very tight defense,
What?
and
Mana, can you tell us what is the strength of the Australia's women team?
the strength of the Australian women team. Are you trying to
No.
get some inside intel here from them? No, the strength of the women's team is that being like the country Australia, we are banded with a lot of different people from all over the world, from different backgrounds, and the fact that we do have a few Colombians who have moved to Australia, so
I
we
saw
have
that.
a different
Yeah.
style there. We have even some Nordic players there, and then double down with our Australian.
You have Nordic players too.
We do. We have a lady named Sonia Kilpatrick here. She's originally from Finland, um, and she's been playing in Australia for, I believe, over 10 years now. But um,
How old is your team?
the team, the
Yeah.
sport in Australia has probably been around for about, let's say, 12, 13 years now. It's slowly
Yeah.
been growing.
That's great.
This is the third World Championships that we've come through. We've come very far since Kali. Um, Kali was sort of just like a let's take a team there, and then Graz was like let's go and do
That's how it
something.
starts, eh?
Exactly. And now we're here in Canada. Everyone's ready. Everyone's ready to do some damage.
That's great. Well, I think the sport evolved quite quickly in Australia because in Canada we started around 12 years ago, and it's taking more time.
Yeah. I imagine Canada has a very similar um,
Yeah,
a
we have
similar problem with Australia with how big our country is,
yeah.
and at the moment we are at the moment a lot of our players have to fly 2-3 hours just to do a training camp together.
I see that.
We don't have the luxury of just like driving from one end of a country to another within,
I
you
heard that you
know.
have a team in Sydney, another in Tasmania, I think, right?
Yeah, we got one in every capital city except for
You have
Darwin at
you
the
have one in
moment.
Perth?
We do have one in Perth.
Okay,
We
that
see
one
them
is
once a
far,
year.
yeah. Okay.
It's they're probably the same distance between Montreal and Vancouver,
It is, yeah.
and so we like them, but we don't see them enough apparently.
Para la gente en YouTube, buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por seguirnos en esta transmisión. Vemos que el equipo colombiano está atacando, está acostumbrándose a esta piscina que es bien profunda y bien larga. Están haciendo circular la pelota como bien lo saben hacer.
And yeah, so you can see there, Carmen, number 15, she's originally from Spain, and then playing with our number 7, who is Charlotta, who was originally from Denmark. So we've got a lot of players from all over the place coming together and developing our Australian style. And you can see Colombia's putting on a strong offense to us. The Australian ladies are doing very well to hold down the position.
They're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
And I believe the main focus was this game for the Australian women were to hold a tight defense and not let them come through at all.
Yeah.
The Colombian girls can do all they want, but I think they're trying to hold the position as much as they can. All right, there's a pushing call. There's a free throw for Australia out into the middle of the pool.
Mana, do you have local tournaments? I think I heard that sometimes you play with Singapore, right?
Yeah, so Singapore has arrived to our Australian National Championships this year.
Ah.
Yeah, so we try to include them as much as we can. There are besides New Zealand, they're our closest team. New Zealand's team's not quite as big at the moment.
Okay.
They've only got 2 teams, one in Wellington, one in Auckland, but
Okay.
they don't have that many players. In fact, our two Australians, one on the men's and one on the women's team, Natalie Solano and Oscar Garcia, are currently living in Auckland.
We play with Oscar here in Montreal. He came to one of our practices. Him and the other Colombian player, Sebastian, I think.
Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah. Good people.
All right. Another free throw for White.
Bueno, David Quintero dice que este partido termina 1-1. Buena, David Quintero. Estás teniendo buena fe en el equipo australiano. Que lo han hecho muy bien. El partido va 0-0. Llevamos 5 minutos de juego.
We've got a breakaway onto the Colombian basket with Australia.
Un contragolpe del equipo colombiano. Interceptado en la mitad de la piscina. Hay un buen relevo.
And we can see the one thing that Colombia does well is to use the space of the pool, the size of the pool. As probably a lot of people have been talking about how good the pool, how big the pool is, and Colombia is one of those teams that will take advantage of that.
Great defense.
Exactly, still solid defense here. We can see him breaking out again.
Great defense.
Got a bit of open pool. Colombian
retired.
forecheck comes in. Yeah.
There you go. Jody was grabbed.
Yeah. Number 44, Jody Wilson. And here we are, back in the cycle.
haven't seen many attacks
Yeah,
from the Australia team right now.
but it
Up,
looks like Australia's been trying to do what Colombia was doing to them for the first half of this game.
yes.
All right, moving the ball around the corner, probably trying to find an opportunity to attack. In a pool like this, it's very worthwhile to try and use the space, bring everyone there. A lot of people are not making it to one end to the other. I personally had a hard time going from one side to the other underwater. And here we go. Straight on the basket. Excellent defense by Australia. That's it. They've been lifted. Coming through. Ball's been saved.
Very well defended.
Well done, number 29. That's Sonia. Resident from Hobart. Came from Finland.
Tasmania representing.
That's it. 42. Romy Keppel has the ball. Romy's a fairly new player to underwater rugby. She's been a very high elite level for underwater hockey and has recently joined the dark side.
That helps though.
Here we go. See some attacks on the basket a bit. Still apologies for the camera. I think the rails are not liking the depth and the movement we're putting on this.
A little bit shaky.
A lot of back and forward.
Oh, the goal is
Open
empty.
basket.
The goal is empty.
Here we go.
And
there
the
we go. First goal has been scored for Colombia. This is the wrong replay for everyone watching.
It is the wrong replay.
They are not all Danish and Germans that we're watching.
Sorry for that. It is stuck. There is a timeout.
As we can see, the Australians have made it very hard for the Colombians to have their first attack, and I'm sure that now they're talking about it, that they're going to come at them even harder. Here we go. It'll be interesting to see what the Australians come up with the reset, if they can use the pool.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is Kata, number 8 with the ball. She hails from Adelaide, right in the middle of this country. Not many people know about Adelaide. Once won the hottest city in the world title at one point.
Ah, yeah.
Now there's a blue free throw from the middle of the pool for Colombia. There we go. We've got a few barriers popped in, and another goal has been scored right from the top.
No, yeah, it was a goal.
That was Emma starting with the ball. Emma Green. Her family actually comes from Vancouver Island.
Really?
So they've been living in Melbourne for a long time now. I think she's moved over since she was a child. She actually played with Canada in Graz.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What is the player with the most experience in this team?
The player with the most experience. I probably have to give that to number 7, Charlotta Jordans, who has played in Denmark with Flipper,
Okay.
I think, over 20 plus years, I would say.
Is she the coach or the captain?
She was the captain in Graz, but since having 3 children now,
Okay.
and
Priorities shift. I imagine.
actually as of a few weeks ago has just relocated herself back to Denmark, which is the
I see.
biggest loss that Australia has suffered, I think, in underwater rugby.
Okay, but but she came. She still
She's
came.
come here to finish off her Australian saga of her life. She married an Australian
Okay.
about 12, 15 years ago, and has moved and lived in Adelaide ever since. All right, you can see the Colombians here taking positions around the basket quite quickly. We'll see if the Australian defenders can hold them off down there. It's a dangerous territory to have that space. As you can see, the ball moves back forward quickly.
Quickly.
There we go. I can say one thing, Australian forwards are pretty ruthless. They won't give you an inch, especially with a hard defense from the Australian team. The forwards are working twice as hard to try and keep that ball pressure on. Here we come, straight over the top. Balls have been dropped in front of the basket.
It hasn't been an easy game for Colombia, that's for sure.
Yes, they've been held off very, very well.
Look at that forward doing an amazing job. Good defense.
There we go. Strong, loose ball above there.
That is.
Charlotta has
that
it.
Is
Is that around the neck? We're about to see. There we
the
go.
referee, yeah.
Has been called for around the neck.
Roughing.
Wide free throw. The Australian captain, number 3 there, Hannah Barringer. She would like me to say hi to her mum and dad. Old Kazza and Trev. If you're watching, Kazza and Trev, Hannah says hi. She's playing really well, and she's doing it for you guys. Alright, Colombia taking good use of the pool, swinging around. Some more three-dimensional space. Ball's dropped. We're missing a defender here. Colombian's taking space under the basket. They're coming back through. The defense is back. Forward straight in.
You have a strong woman there.
All of our women are strong, Felipe. Australians, tough as the ones that are here. Ball's loose right above the basket. There's still a Colombian under the Australian basket taking up space. And we're back into a hard defense. There's a push. Ball's loose again. It's amazing to see how the Colombians have control in the chaos under the basket. Somehow the ball's always passed, always perfectly to them.
Yeah, they're very good at keeping the
Yeah.
ball and not losing it. Yeah. It's a key to this game.
And then the space that keeps getting taken from under the basket. Ball's loose. Straight back out. Here's the hopes of the counter. Hannah into Romy.
But not much support.
Not much support.
The
See,
Australians are
Australians are
tired.
tired.
They've been
This is
defending for
Sophie, at number
for a couple.
88, one of the most experienced players on the Australian team. This is her third World Championship, one of the first Australians to start playing underwater rugby.
Who introduced underwater rugby in Australia?
Um, it's a lady by the name of Celine
Celine.
Steinfeld. She did an exchange to Sweden
Okay.
during university about 12, 13 years ago, and then came back with an underwater rugby ball after seeing the game. And then from there, she grabbed some milk crates. I don't know if you have a similar thing. They're boxes where we put milks in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you put them in the water, and then there were our goals
With some weights.
with some weights in there, and then we played.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's
in
how it
Canada
starts.
too.
It was a good counter attack from Colombia, and then well stopped by the Australians. Coming through, that was a long pass. Can they keep going?
So a long way to go.
It's a long way to go. It's a long swim. All right,
That is good. They keep the ball.
that's
in
it. Keep
the
the
bottom.
ball. They're still in the corner though. Are they able to get out of that corner?
That is great.
Ball's loose.
Oh.
The pass was just out of reach. It's a tough time playing when you go one end to the other. It's almost better to have your defense on or your offense on the whole game, isn't it? And I believe the time's up. We're at a half time now. 2-0 to Colombia. The Australian women have held them very well. We'll see soon how the second half goes.
Two 0 for Colombia. La gente en YouTube, people on YouTube, can you hear it? We don't see any more comments.
There we go. We've had our chat on the wrong one. We can see it piling in now.
Oh man.
There's a lot of chat going. We apologise for missing that first bit. We'll be watching it for the second half now. So if you're from Australia and you're watching at currently 3:30 in the morning, give us a shout.
I saw a fight last night. Alexander Volkanovski, you have a great UFC fighter. He did a great job last night fighting against a Mexican dude. If you are a UFC fan, let us know.
Alright, I don't know about you, Felipe, but the Colombian girls over here look tired.
They do. It's a big pool.
I can see them. Hello, Tat. Hello, Owen. I hope they're doing you proud, girls and boys.
Aussie women are killing it. I think they are.
I think they are doing very well here at the moment. You can see the coach of the women's team there. One of the coaches, Johnson, with the blue cap on. He hails from Turkey. He came to Australia 8 years ago, and he's been here, been an integral part of underwater rugby Australia.
I heard that the Turkeymen are very good.
They are very good.
The players. I think they started in a university, right? They have a team in a university.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They have a team in the university. They've built an empire. I think we've been very lucky today. In Montreal, the weather has cooled down a lot as well.
It has. It
It's
has.
been,
It's been very hot for the last couple of
yeah, it's been
days.
very hot and sweaty over here.
It gets very warm and humid there. And we had some fires in the forest, so it was very smoky for the last couple of weeks.
It pretty much sounds exactly like Australia, doesn't it?
It is.
And how many teams in Canada do you guys have playing underwater rugby?
We have one team in Montreal and one team in Toronto, and we have a few people playing in another city in Canada, but they play something that is called football underwater football water or something like that.
Right. All right. All right. We're now having some technical difficulties with our screen. We can actually still see the game, but I think it's live streaming the issues.
Yeah. It's okay. You see it on the screen too. People on YouTube
Yeah.
can see it on the screen.
Yeah, we're trying to fix the camera right now. If you've just joined us, we're having issues with the screen. I'll talk you through it. The game just started. Australia's currently still in possession. There's a scrummage in the middle. There's a lot of bodies in the water at the moment. It looks like Colombia's holding the possession still, and they're breaking out towards the Australian basket. All right. Colombia moving to the corner. There we go. We've got our vision back. Just hang tight, guys. Everyone will be able to see in a second. All right. At the moment, we can see Colombia moving the ball in the corner, and Australia's got their defense set up. All right, they're coming through with a lot of force again.
The image is back. Great.
All right, and if you're just joining us now, the Colombians are currently up 2-0.
2-0. The score is not.
It's not updating on the thing, but
the score is not accurate.
But
it's 2-0 for Colombia. The Australian girls are defending very well, but they are having problems to get
here's
past
a strong
the
breakout.
Of the pool.
Yvette and Sophie pushing their way through. And then they just meet a wall of the Colombians. Alright. The Colombian forward checking very well. The ball's been turned back over. Colombians are heading forwards for the Australian basket. Oh, dangerous territory there. Colombians got it. There's no goalie on the Australian basket at the moment. Colombian have stolen the basket. Coming back through. The defenders are doing very well to hold them off. The basket is still open.
They stole the basket again.
Colombia's on, and they've moved off.
Finally,
that was a rough time for.
Back the basket.
It was a rough time for Australia there, but they've managed to recover. Let's see if they can get back into rhythm with a defender and a goalie on the basket. Ball's locked on the surface. Australian doing very well to hold their pistoning, but they were lacking the support out there. Ball's now loose. One attacker well held off. Colombian missing the support underwater at the moment. All their players are very far forward. Here's a counter attack. Ball's back loose. Australians in possession. Can they get out of their third? And back into the hands of Colombia. It's a one-on-one. Alright, defender's been pulled up. Ball's loose. Alright, another scrum on the surface. Number 38, Jennifer Acosta. She comes from Colombia. She's been playing with the Sea Dragons in Melbourne for a little while now. Has become a big family, part of the big family that is the Melbourne presence here.
So how many teams do you have in Australia? You have Sydney,
So we have
Tasmania,
2 teams in Sydney,
2 teams in Sydney.
and then we have one in Melbourne, one in Tasmania, one in Hobart in Tasmania, one in Brisbane, Canberra, Adelaide, and Perth. And I think we're slowly starting up a bit of a regional one with Sundays up in Queensland. It's a lovely beach. If anyone here watching the stream wants one of the best vacation places in the country, go visit with Sundays and go play some underwater rugby there.
The Whitsunday Islands.
With Sunday Islands, everyone's heard of them.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Colombian basket is open. The counter attack is happening. Can Australia drop back with their forecheck? Good one halfway at the pool. And Colombia's turning back around. Good use of their 3D again.
It's a nice pass. The basket is alone.
Basket is open. 1-on-1.
No defenders.
Well done. We're still missing a defender.
2 attacking.
There's a strong push there. Ball's loose. That's it. Well left. Number 77. We have is Andrea Castano, also from Colombia and also living in Melbourne.
What city do you live in, Mano?
I'm from Sydney. So I play with the Sydney Stingrays. I believe some people here are on there from my own team back home. And the current women's coach, Lyle, is also from my club back in Sydney. Another scrum. There's a lot of people in there. You can see Australia's doing well to have their goalie and back ready to go. Ball's loose in the hands of the Australians. The counter attack's happening. Emma has the ball. Is she going to be able to get that pass off? Alright, back into another scrum. Hands of the Colombians. Ball's loose. Ball's coming down. It's a bit loose. Still back into the hands of the Australians. Comes there. Can she see our own player? Hannah, the captain, has the ball. Coming back through. Calling around the neck. Referees say play the ball on. Scrum has even taken to the surface. There they are. Colombian on the counter attack again. Forecheck has been pretty strong this game. We're missing a defender on the basket. Number 42 is the Australian defender out in their play. Now both defenders are up at the surface. Goalie's on her own. Colombia comes in with the shoulder push and gets taken out. Dangerous territory. Basket's open with a Colombian under the basket. The pressure that the Australian forwards are putting on Colombia is very, very good. Let's see if they can make something of this breakout. The Colombian forward track is very strong at that 3-meter line. They're not letting them have an easy swim out. Number 10's loose with the ball. Sarah McCarthy coming through. And just misses the pass to Emma. Six minutes left of this game. Colombia is only up 2-0 against Australia. Australian defense has been holding well. I think Colombia is having a hard time breaking through. Now we see 3 underwater. You can see the spiral that's happening, the 3-dimensional through. Well stopped by the Australian defense. They've taken out the defender in that line. The goalie's on their own. Coming back in with another attack on the basket. It was a dangerous move by the defender there, reaching out. Hope it pays off for them. Defender's out of position. Just a goalie on the basket. The ball was shot and missed. Here comes the pushes. Straight into the hands of the goalie. Australia holding very well in this defense here. Colombia's taking it back out to recycle. There's no support from Colombia underwater at the moment. They're on their own.
That was a very impressive defense.
It was an impressive defense. As you can see, the Colombians, like a lot of teams in a hard offense, have been pushing forward. You can see the Colombian girls have been holding quite strong at that halfway line.
Was very
Ball
close.
was loose, caught by Sarah, well done. And then the goalie has slotted back in. Yeah, you could see that the Colombian boys are still sitting at halfway. They definitely know that they can't give Australia an inch, and making sure that their forecheck keeps them in their half. Because if they end up creeping forward, then and the Australian gets a counter attack, they might come through. Ball's loose. Australian heading back up to the surface into the play. Manages to get an offload to Colombian straight back into it. Another scrum on the surface. Each team has one player underwater. Ball's getting swum out to the edge.
Here is where the camera gets shaky. Sorry for that.
Alright, here we go. Colombia having a counter attack, 1 on 3 players. They're coming through. Colombia just needs one support. Another 3-dimensional play right over the top. Colombia have stolen the basket. And Colombia have supported it in from a stolen basket. Third goal towards Colombia, third for black. There it is. The Colombians swap with the Australian goalie perfectly, and then a great offload into the basket after that.
An old trick.
Timeout for White. White's called a timeout for 60 seconds. only 2 minutes 45 seconds left of this game. Colombia currently up 3-0 to Australia. We're on a white timeout. Alright, the play will reset. The ball will be in the Australians' hands, swimming off the wall. Here we go, play started. Australia trying to put through that middle half of the pool. Have lost it. Colombia coming for the counter attack. We've got 3-on-1 at the moment. Goalie straight on. We're missing a defender down there. And Colombia has moved back out. The goalie's gone up. We've got a big hole there. Colombia hasn't been able to capitalize on that. You can see the Colombia's coming stronger. Their goalie and defender at the surface has moved forward in the water, trying to make a one last goal before they finish. Alright. Colombia, ball possession above the basket. Basket's been stolen, pass to the middle there. Are they able to rotate?
Oh,
Well stopped by the Australian
well
goalkeepers.
defended.
Now there's a counter attack from Australia. Can they utilise their speed? Good ball pass out there and into the hands of the Colombians. There's a turnover. Colombia on her own and into the basket. Well done by number 15 on the Colombian team, Margarita. As you can see here, the Australians weren't quite ready for it. And being the experienced team, Colombia have managed to capitalise on that hole. One minute left of this game. Colombia currently leading 4-0 to Australia. Alright, we're now stuck in a scrum at the surface. Falls loose into the hands of Charlotta. And the Colombians use the good use of their 3D, sprinting for the basket again. Australians have their defense a bit ready. Goalie's off the basket, stolen by Colombia. 10 seconds left of this match. Alright. That's it. And finish 4-0 to Colombia. I think that was a bit of an exciting game, wasn't it?
That was an
I
exciting
don't
game.
think the Colombians weren't ready for the Australian defense there.
The
That's
Australian
coming
defense,
through.
yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah. Our next
man.
game coming up will be Austria versus Sweden, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So I think well done to both teams. They played very well. And it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the games in the pool go with everyone.
Man, what is your next game?
When is our next game?
Yeah,
It's the Australian men's team.
Yeah, you're playing tomorrow, right?
We are playing tomorrow against Canada, So that'll be an exciting day. Everyone should tune into that.
Yeah.
What
We-
position do you play, Felipe?
I started to play as a goalie, and I got my shoulder injured, so I'm playing now as a defense. But my back is injured too, so I haven't played for a while. I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to aiming straight for your back when we play.
But I've
How's
been
that
playing a
sound?
little bit. I go to the practices sometimes, and we play with one of your teammates, Ben.
Yes, Ben has been
Ben has been here in
been
Montreal
here for a
couple
little
of
bit, a long
for a
time,
couple
hasn't
of
he?
weeks, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna end it there and get ready to start the Sweden versus Austria. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be on and be with the celebrity himself, Thomas Denk.